For this movie, Liam Neeson was so eager to be in the film that he signed on without having read the script. So I actually enjoy the Star Wars prequels. I know they get a lot of hate for some sort of reason. They're definitely not as strong as the originals, but they do have their place in the Star Wars universe, and I've always enjoyed watching The Phantom Menace. And I have a lot of things in this movie that I like. There are a few things I don't like, but I will save those for the end of the review. First thing I like about this movie is I like the political atmosphere of this movie. The Galactic Republic is in control of a whole lot of things. There's a lot of politics surrounding Queen Amidala and Naboo and the Trade Federation. You know, we get introduced to all these different characters, all these different turmoils, and what the problem is, and how complex the problems really are. Most of this movie is very, very political, but also the Jedi Council. I've always had a love-hate relationship with them. I understand that they're the keepers of the peace, but they're almost as bad as the politicians are. I mean, they're very stubborn and arrogant and set in their ways. And just like the whole thing with Qui Gonn not even being on a Jedi Council, and you know, they don't even want Qui Gonn to train Anakin because he's too old. We definitely get to see the push and pull of the Jedi Council and how Qui Gonn feels about the Council as well in this movie. Just goes to showcase how awesome Qui Gonn is, honestly. One of my favorite characters in this movie is easily Qui Gonn Jinn. He has such an awesome presence on screen. He's just such a cool, relaxed guy, but also at the same time he's very knowledgeable, very full of wisdom, and just the relationship he has with Anakin in this movie, it's one of my favorite relationships. It's just he knows so much about the Force, and he knows that Anakin is the chosen one, and he wants to dedicate all that he has to help Anakin. And the sad thing about Anakin's character, so the actor who played him, Jake Lloyd, I think did a great job. He got a lot of backlash from fans, mainly due to dialogue, but also just how his character was perceived on screen. He can be kind of whiny at times, but for the most part, like I said, he did a good job, but then he started getting all sorts of legal trouble. He had to check into a mental institution for schizophrenia, and his life really went down the drains. And a lot of it had to do with just how terribly he was treated by the fans. Easily my favorite part of this entire movie is the lightsaber fight between Darth Maul and Obi-Wan and Qui Gonn. Just the entrance that Darth Maul makes, along with the Duel of the Fates music playing, absolutely iconic, absolutely cinematic. It's one of those moments in Star Wars that you're never going to forget. And it was just so cool to see. Ray Park does a phenomenal job as Darth Maul. He does all of his own stunts. He's a very, very good martial artist, so he makes it look even cooler on screen. And then the whole fight, the sequencing, just the cool little pauses in the fights, it's just very, very well formulated and crafted. I could watch that fight 100 times over. I listen to Duel of Fates all the time because it might be one of John Williams' best compositions ever. So here are the things that I didn't like. I'm not a fan of Jar Jar Binks or the Gungans. Every time I see Jar Jar on screen, anytime he speaks, anytime he does anything, I just don't like it. I don't like it at all. It's cringy. It's stupid. Like, the character of Jar Jar, I think it was a bad decision by George Lucas to put him in there because he has way too much screen time. Everybody knows he's a complete idiot. I know Ahmed Best had so much backlash on his character Jar Jar Binks to the point of people are asking him to commit suicide. It was absolutely terrible what he went through, and it was really awesome to see that Ahmed Best did make an appearance in The Mandalorian. He looked so good, he just looked awesome, and it's just a great redemption for him. I do think that there are times in this movie where the dialogue is weak. The acting can be kind of wooden. I'd say specifically from Anakin, I think his dialogue has always been pretty weak. There are times just like the conversations back and forth between characters were not very convincing. You could tell they were kind of just going with the script. The dialogue definitely made this movie suffer. The acting could have been a little better. And then of course to talk about midichlorians, this is the only movie where midichlorians are even talked about. I don't really understand the point. Like, I don't think it even added to anything. The Force is already described well enough in the originals that we don't need more of a scientific explanation. Midichlorians, like that's some kind of big thing. But I still really do like this movie, and I may be in the minority, but I don't really care because Star Wars is just such a deep love to me, and I will definitely always have a deep special place in my heart for the prequels. So for Star Wars The Phantom Menace, I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10 Mudflaps. And remember, leave me a thumbs up and drop in the comments below. What was your favorite prequel? See you next time.